All right, it's time for Bible. I want you to get your book. We're going to review today. And the beauty of this is you have a pause, you have a rewind, all of those elements at your fingers. But page 190, 191, and 192, I want to go over those questions. And then on Thursday, we're going to have a test, hint, hint. So I want you to jot down everything today and make sure you've got all the answers. Okay. This is page 190, number 1, under God and Elijah, unit 48. Who introduced and popularized the worship of Baal? It was King Ahab and his wife Jezebel. Number 2, where was Jezebel from and what was her social position there? Well, she was from Tyre, T-Y-R-E, not T-I-R-E, but T-Y-R-E, and she was a princess or the daughter of a king. Number 3, how many Israelites did not participate in Baal worship during Elijah's ministry? Remember, we talked about there were some faithful Israelites. It was 7,000 is what the Bible numbers them as, 7,000. And number 4, who was Elijah? Well, Elijah was a prophet of Yahweh or of God. Number 5, where was Elijah from? Gilead. 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 Okay. And number 6, to whom did Elijah announce, and you ought to know this one, come on. As the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall be no dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. Who did he say that to? King Ahab. Yeah, King Ahab. A-H-A-B. All right. So you can rewind, fast forward, pause, all that good stuff as you go back through that. Unit 49, Elijah and the drought. Number 1, why did God withhold rain from Israel? Well, it was to chastise or punish or discipline his people for worshiping idols. And he wanted to bring them back. God always wants to bring his people back to him. And if he has to give us a spanking, if he has to give us a jawing or discipline or whatever, God will do it in order to bring us back. Number 2, how did God provide for Elijah's needs? Well, there were several ways. Remember the brook that provided water, the ravens that brought him food, and then he went to that widow. And God told the widow to take care of him. You remember it? So the brook, the ravens that brought food, and the widow that took care of him. Number 3, where did God direct Elijah when the brook dried up? Well, I won't ask you for the name of the town. It was Zarephath. But God sent him to that widow, W-I-D-O-W, widow, not window. And she provided food for him. Number 4, what was the widow's advantage in having Elijah as her guest? Well, think about it. Because she had him there, remember when she met Elijah, she said, I'm going to eat this one little wheat cake, a little meal cake, and then I'm going to die. But because Elijah was there, she was able to have food for the entire duration of his stay. The food, the meal, and the oil did not run out, and they were able to make bread out of it. Pretty good stuff. Number 5, what miracle did Elijah perform while staying with the widow? Do you remember? Her son died. Her son died, and he laid on top of the son, prayed to God, and God brought the son back to life. Okay, so that is Unit 49. Unit 50, this is page 191. Page 191. Number 1, who was Obadiah? Well, he was Ahab's governor. Ahab's governor. Number 2, how did Obadiah show his loyalty to God? And this was the cool one. Remember when Jezebel was killing all of the prophets, he hid 100 prophets of God in different caves. So he hid prophets to save their life. P-R-O-P-H-E-T-S, not P-R-O-F-I-T-S. I know we're writing stuff down, and I don't have a board to write it on or a computer to type it on. So there we go. Well, I know proper English. Whom, I would have said who. Whom did Ahab blame for the 3.5 years of drought? Elijah. Remember, when he sees Elijah, he says, "You're the one that's brought all this trouble on Israel by bringing this drought." So he blamed Elijah. Number 4, who was really to blame for the years of drought? Well, it was Ahab and the people of Israel. Ahab and the people of Israel that had worshipped idols. It was their fault. Number 5, how did Elijah display the identity and power of the true God? He asked for a contest, or a showdown, as I like to call it, between the prophets of Baal and himself. And he was representing Yahweh. And God proved his power that day. So he asked for a contest. It took place on Mount Carmel. So write that down. He asked for a contest or showdown that took place on Mount Carmel. And number 6, well, there you go. At the contest on Mount Carmel, what you love about Beckham. At the contest on Mount Carmel, how many prophets were on each side? 450 prophets of Baal were on one side. 450 prophets of Baal on one side. Who was the only one on the other? Well, Elijah. It was it. So Elijah's on one side, 450 prophets on the other. Number 7, how long did the prophets of Baal call on their God? Well, they started out early in the morning, and they went through lunchtime and on into the afternoon. So from early in the morning into the afternoon. Morning until afternoon. So write that down. Number 8, describe what Elijah did to his altar before he prayed. That's where Elijah got 12 barrels of water and poured it over everything. The sacrifice, the wood, the grass. I mean, it was all over. Elijah's looked like a flood gone wrong. So he poured water, 12 barrels of water, over his altar. Number 9. On page 191, how did God answer Elijah's prayer? Well, he sent fire from heaven and consumed everything. Consumed everything. The altar, the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the water. He burned it all up. That's how God answered Elijah's prayer. Number 10, describe what the people watching did. Remember, they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, He is God," or Yahweh, He is God. The Lord, He is God. So they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, He is God." Number 11, what happened to the 450 prophets of Baal? Elijah had them killed. Had every one of them killed. Number 12, after God sent a fire and burned the sacrifice, what did Elijah tell Ahab? He said, "You better go home because it's about to rain," or "find shelter because it's about to rain." Find shelter because it's about to rain. And number 13, this is page 192, so turn your page. Page 192, number 13, where did Elijah go after the contest at Mount Carmel? Well, he went to the top of the mountain to pray for rain. He went to the highest peak on Mount Carmel to pray for rain. Number 14, did rain come automatically or immediately? No. And I want you to expound on that just a little bit. If you remember, while Elijah's praying, he sends his servant out how many times? 7 times. Sends his servant out 7 times, and Elijah every time will ask, "Do you see any clouds? Do you see any clouds?" And finally on that 7th time he says, "Hey, I see a cloud about the size of a man's hand out there." Number 15, the last one. When the rain started to come, how did Elijah get back to Jezreel? Well, he ran in front of Ahab's chariot. He ran in front, and that's important. He didn't just run back, he ran in front of Ahab's chariot. That means he was getting with it. Okay, rewind if you need to, go through those again, write your answers down. Hopefully, you can understand everything I said, and hopefully, you can get all of those answers written on paper. That way, tomorrow when you have a test, it may be as simple as transferring some of those answers. They may be in a different order, they may not be. May just be some of the questions, it may be all of them. But you will be able to use your notes tomorrow, because we're not going to be able to do it by Zoom tomorrow. We may start doing some of our tests via Zoom, but for right now, it is what it is. It be what it be. So just hang in there, jot those down, get that done, and just put done in the comments when you finished. If you have any questions, message me. I know a couple of you have. You had a question about something. You were like, hey, what do we do here? Message me. I'll answer. If I don't see it immediately, I will see it soon after. It pops up on my phone, but I may be in the middle of doing a video or something. But I will get back to you as soon as possible. So listen, hang in there. Love y'all. Know you'll do well on your test. Tomorrow, when you go to your assignment, there'll be a test in there. So there won't be a video. You'll just open your test. You'll have a little instructions and submit that. And then on Friday, we'll either have a chapel. I think Mr. Stone may be doing one with Siler singing a song, something along those lines, or we may have another Bible. We'll see. But we'll just play it by ear day by day. Love y'all. Miss y'all. See ya Friday.